I've had very itchy feet recently. I haven't done anything longer than an overnighter since the Badger. That feels like months ago, it was months ago. And I have little prospect of doing anything longer than an overnighter because I used up all my holiday this year months ago. I've taken about as many unpaid days as I reasonably can. So it just becomes a waiting game. Waiting for January the 1st, when my holiday allowance refills itself for 2023. This morning I spent some time sitting with a coffee and a small but non-zero hangover, and I watched a film on YouTube about two women cycling the Arctic Postal Road, which is this long distance trail that goes from somewhere up in the north of Finland across the border into Norway. It's a really good film. I'll put a link to it down below. Really beautifully shot, amazing landscape, fantastic trail. Looks really hard, but very, very beautiful. And these films though, I know they're supposed to be inspiring, and they are inspiring. You know, I sat there slowly distancing myself from my headache and thinking as the seconds ticked by just more and more, I want a bit of that. I want to be there doing that right now. Camping in the forest, swimming in the lake, fording the river, carrying my bike up rock-covered hillsides. So I was inspired, definitely. But in some situations, inspiration comes with a hint of cruelty, shall we say. You know, it can be a mockery, a little high-definition reminder of all the things you would like to be doing that you're not doing. So many trails, so many rides, so little time to ride them in. So what does one do when one is heavy with wanderlust and light on time? You have to go small. You have to try and find adventure where you didn't know there was adventure. And I've had a little project going for the last few years, which I found quite helpful in this respect. I say project, it's a collection, an artwork, I'm not really sure. I got the idea from an interview that I read with Lyle Wilcox, who you may have come across. She's a bike-packing, endurance bike racing machine, basically. And in this article, she was saying that as part of her training that year, she was going to try and cycle every road in Alaska, which I thought was quite cool. And I started thinking about what that would mean in other countries. And I know for a fact that in the UK, that wouldn't be something I was capable of achieving or would even care to attempt, if I'm entirely honest. But the concept appealed to me in a sort of geeky maps and lists type of way. So I started recording all of my rides on Strava, and I found a website that will link to your Strava account and map all of your routes onto a single map, all overlaid on top of each other. And then I started, piece by piece, trying to fill in that map. Yeah, initially, I just carried on riding all my normal rides, but once they're logged, you have to start getting creative. You have to start looking for alternatives, for detours, for connections. You know, anything so that each ride you do puts a few new lines on that master map. And before you know it, your local area is full and you're pushing yourself out of those those standard rides that you would normally do and forcing yourself to go places you maybe wouldn't have gone before. Once all those options are exhausted, you start thinking, okay, well, I've just got to start my day rides with a little train ride. And that's what I've done today. You know, only 20 minutes. I got the train out of Reading to Cholsey, but it's just enough to give me that launch pad, kick me off straight into a ride on trails I've never ridden before, bits of woodland I've never had sandwiches in before. It's great. You know, I'm only 15 miles from home, but it does have that feeling of adventure, going somewhere. Don't know what's around the next corner. It's very cool. So what's the payoff to this adventure? The geeky collector in me gets to have a little dopamine rush watching a new line appear on that map. It's quite a good one today. A nice big loop out north, Watlington, Henley. Not my usual stomping ground at all. And that, of course, is the real point. I had a very lovely ride. Beautiful autumn day, and pretty much entirely on trails I've never ridden before. Trails that felt new and exciting and adventurous and fresh, and so went a certain amount towards scratching that itch, I guess. Now, if you live in a place for long enough, you start to think that you've seen everything it has to show you, but chances are you haven't. Now, I've lived in this part of the world all my life, which is scarily close to 45 years now. In the last 4 or 5 years that I've been planning rides like this, I've ridden countless trails that I've never been on before, never walked on, never ridden on. Little bridle ways, country lanes, all sorts. It's good. I recommend it. If you're into maps and charts and cataloguing things, and you want something to nudge you out of a potential route planning rut that you may be in, then it could be just the job. I'll put a link down below to the site I use for pinning all the routes together and stuff. Yeah, give it a go. Let me know how you get on. But for now, I'm done. The shadows are starting to lengthen, and I'm back in charted territory now, just coming out of Henley and starting to head back towards Reading. So I leave you here. Hope you've enjoyed the ride. If you have, like and subscribe, leave a comment, let me know what you think. To my monthly Ko-fi supporters, thank you very much. You are the wind beneath my wings, the gravel beneath my tyres, and to all the one-off chipper-inners too. You are also always in my thoughts. Thank you so much. Yeah, that's that. As always, I end the video with a waffle. Unplanned and unplanned. Hurrah! Look, the sun's come out, it's beautiful. I'll see you all on the next one. Bye now.